I want to thank everybody for pointing out that Mr. Warden lost his case. Not that I care. I don't wish any ill will to Mr. Warden, but as I suspected, the potential penalty for losing his case would be about as much, roughly, as hiring an attorney to defend himself. His motion, again, was correctly filed in the circular file of the court. But let's figure out where Mr. Warden made some mistakes. Mr. Warden made some mistakes in looking at the subpoena list for the prosecution. Mr. Warden should have looked at the witness list for the prosecution. The prosecution may subpoena a lot of people, but if they're not on the witness list, then you have a lot harder time to get them in there as a witness. Whatever. $500 is $500. Second thing Mr. Warden is terribly, I don't know if he's unfamiliar with or if he's under a misapprehension about, but Mr. Rufus's testimony would have been pointless because all the prosecutor had to do was prove the elements of this ordinance. I'm going to call it a crime probably, so it kind of sort of is, but anyway. Because it's unlawful. Ooh, it's unlawful for any person to willfully fail or refuse to comply with or interfere with. That's element number one. It's got to be one of those three things. You have to either willfully fail or refuse to comply with or interfere with. What is the second element? The second element is any lawful order or direction of a police officer or fire department official. So, Mr. Warden obviously refused to comply. He did not want to answer what his name and address were the second and third and subsequent times that Rufus asked for them. Was it a lawful order? Well, the court apparently thought so. I'm not familiar with Louisiana penal code, and I really don't care to be. I'm just telling you, this is just for your edification on what the prosecution has to do. So was it a lawful order? Apparently the court thought it was. And was Rufus a police officer? We know that he was because Mr. Warden admitted it on a video. So if Rufus gave Mr. Warden a lawful order and Mr. Warden failed to comply with it, well, that's two elements. Third and final element is when such officer or official is engaged in the performance of his official duties. I think that's rather sexist. It should be his or her. But I'm in California, so I'm brainwashed. So, yeah, Mr. Rufus was engaged in the performance of his duties. Again, he is a part-time police officer, and he was investigating what he thought may be a crime. And apparently he was right. He just didn't know which crime it was. So, long story short, that is why I show you the crimes. That's why Mr. Freeman is so ridiculous when he says that the police are harassing or stealing or
threat of force.
He loves to say,
They're making us comply under threat of force.
that's not an element of anything. That's why it's so stupid when you say it. Excuse me. That's why you sound so uninformed and misinformed when you say it. Thank you for watching. You can return your seats to their upright position. Have a great day.